Hi guys, it's Wendy-Anne, and today the topic is how to deal with being a people pleaser. And I tend to find that people pleaser, they just want to please authority and make sure that they please people above them, so the consequences are very good and that they are going more towards their ambition. So this happens especially between a teacher and a student relationship. The student always wants to please the teacher most of the time because they want good consequences out of it. Maybe it could be good grades, maybe it could be the fact that the teacher sees their student as a good person. So this happens a lot, and that's why there are a lot of people pleasers, especially in that sort of relationship. Some characters, as an example, that you may know is Sansa Stark from Game of Thrones. And at first, I sort of underestimated her at the very beginning of the show, like a lot of people, because she didn't really play the game at the beginning of Game of Thrones, and then she started to. So she's actually a very clever character. But she is quiet, so we don't know what's going on in her mind, but she is very clever, and I think she is very capable. So she states that she's a slow learner, and I think that there are very good people, very clever people, but they just take time to get things into their head and slowly learn, but they are actually very clever human beings. And I think at the beginning of the show of Game of Thrones, she is a people pleaser. I mean, you can see the scene with Cersei Lannister when she writes a letter to Robb, that she wants to please the queen, she wants to do as she's told. Same thing for when her dog, her direwolf lady dies. She just has to accept it and to keep this maturity and respect authority. So Sansa Stark is a character at first, when she's a child, respects authority, and I see those kind of people as people pleaser. But then later on, she does get her independence and she doesn't want to be a people pleaser anymore. Like you can see, she is banishing Peter Baelish and Jaime Lannister, so she has evolved. So my biggest advice is, you should be a people pleaser because you have to keep the peace. You have to keep the peace with authority because the people above you have a higher rank and they know what they are talking about. So be nice to them, respect them, be a people pleaser, meaning just agree with what they say, give a smile, and you keep the peace. However, I would say to keep it in a balance, be a people pleaser, but also stand out. Meaning, do say no, do give your opinions, open up. It's not, because maybe we are afraid that the consequences may be bad if we give an opinion that would be the opposite of our teachers or anyone above us. So that's why we are people pleaser. We just don't want to get into the fight, because a fight with your teacher may lead to a bad grade or to something really bad that will happen to you. So that's why we're people pleasers, most of us. But there are some people that are not people pleaser and they stand out for themselves and they don't really consider the consequences. And I actually admire those people as well because they're standing up for themselves. They're not just agreeing to everything that the authority is saying. It's good to be independent and to stand out. So to not completely lose yourself, be true to yourself is very important. So you have to keep it in a balance. You have to be a people pleaser to, keep mature at a mature state, respect authority, but also be independent and stand out. Because if you're not standing out, people may underestimate you. So I would really recommend to have a balance. The key word for everything is a balance. Do a bit of everything. So be a people pleaser, but also stand up for yourself. Give high opinions, even if it's opposite to the authority. There you go. There is this quote from this movie about this girl from the United States who is trying to find her father in the United Kingdom. There's Colin Firth and Amanda Burns in it. She's the girl who plays Amanda Burns, and she's the man. So do watch it. I don't remember the name of the movie, but she's the girl from the United States who goes to the United Kingdom to find her British father because she has an American mother in Chinatown. So do try to find what movie that is, because there is the best quote, and it really, really made me feel better. That quote is basically, why are you trying to fit in when you're born to stand out? That quote actually really, it really consolated me. It made me feel so much better, because I was trying so much to fit in most of my life, because, you know, you want to keep the peace and you want good consequences out of the authority above you. But we tend to sort of, you know, stay into that, the fitting in, that we forget to stand out and to really speak up for ourselves. And authority hates when you speak up for yourself, because they want to be the ones above you. But I would say it's not completely a bad thing. If you have something on your mind, do speak up. Speak up. So speak up, but also keep the peace. Do consider that you have an authority above you. You have a rank above you as well. So as a teacher-student relationship, the teacher has the authority, so you have to respect that. But also, if you disagree, or if you want to show your cleverness, do show it. Even if the consequences may be bad, do show it. Be true to yourself as well. So that's it. So when I heard that quote, why are you trying to fit in when you're born to stand out? I mean, some people may judge you wrong, and then they totally underestimated you, and when you're trying to fit in too much, you're going to their level. But you can even go above that by standing out and proving them wrong, which is why I'm really, people pleasers are so innocent, and so it's not fair on them to be overjudged by the authority and everything. So standing out is really essential, really, really essential. I'm going to give another example. I don't know if you guys know ANTM, which is a reality TV show by Tyra Banks, America's Next Top Model. So in cycle 18 with British Invasion, there are two personalities I'm going to compare. Do watch it after this video if you want to see what I mean. So there's this British girl called Sophie, and there's this British girl called Louise Watts in cycle 18 AMTM, America's Next Top Model. Sophie is the cutest thing. She has this pink hair in the show, and she's so cute, and she's nice to all the judges. She always wants to keep the peace. She is nice to all the contestants. She does also give her opinions in the show, which is good. She is standing out, so she has the right attitude. On the other hand, we have Louise Watts, who is having this battle with Kelly Catrone. So this is a very famous video. Search it up, Louise Watts versus Kelly Catrone. And Louise Watts, I do respect her as well as Kelly Catrone, because she is standing up for herself, because she thinks that all the judges were throwing themselves at her, being really mean to her, and she completely lost it. So she decides to leave the competition because it was way too overwhelming, and she was so scared, and she just wanted to go back to the UK because she thinks that they would misjudging her. And I mean, it was a great thing that she stood up for herself. What was not great was the fact that she didn't keep this level of maturity and sanity, recognizing that there is an authority above her, though. So keeping that cool, sane state is very important, as much as standing up for herself, which is why I'm both on her side as much as against. Okay, another people pleaser from ANTM is Lena Goldball. If you search her up, she did the ANTM cycle 19, so America's Next Top Model cycle 19, and she is absolutely a people pleaser. When she goes to the judges, she says, "I love all your criticism." She will always compliment everyone and make sure, because she wanted to be America's Next Top Model. She really wanted it so much. And so she had to respect the authority in order to get there, because if you don't respect the authority, Kelly Catrone, for example, someone didn't respect her, she gave the contestant a 4 because the photo was bad, and also the contestant didn't respect her. So that's why there are a lot of people pleasers, because you want the consequences to be good. You want to have a good grade, or you want a good comment, people to see you as a nice person. That's why we're people pleasers. But sometimes when we're people pleasers, like I said, for Sansa Stark, people do underestimate us and they do not know our cleverness. Sometimes people would say, does that make sense? Do you get it? Because people pleaser just want to agree with what the authority is saying, that they forget to stand out. People are afraid to stand out because the authority may say, give a bad consequence because they said something, they stood up for themselves in the wrong way. So that's why we don't always stand up for ourselves, because the authority can give a bad consequence. Let's say, I'll give an example. Let's say, especially in high school, let's say a school teacher is just there, and the student is just standing up for themselves, saying, no, I did this right, and then the teacher will just see them as, why are you back chatting when I've given you what you deserved? Like, let's say, especially like in Pretty Little Lies, there is this student, Noah, with Ezra. Ezra gives him a C, I believe, and Noah was like, I deserve an A, and he kept back chatting, and then Ezra says, no, you deserve a C. You just have to accept it and just work harder for the next time, basically. So authority will always be above you, but you can stand up for yourself if you say it in the right way. So I do feel for people pleasers. I've been a people pleaser most of my childhood and teenage years. Like, the reason I've been a people pleaser is because I was afraid of the consequences. I thought that if I was, not respectful to the authority above me, that there would be bad consequences. And of course, I'm terrified of bad consequences. But from the age of 2021, I think I did stand up more for myself, and I did care about the consequences, but I didn't over care about the consequences as I did as a teenager and a child. So yeah, my biggest advice, have a balance, be respectful towards the authority that is above you, but also if you have to speak up, but in a mature, sane manner. And if you're having trouble dealing with being a people pleaser because the authority, like a teacher or someone above you, is underestimating your cleverness because you're trying to please them too much, I would say prove them wrong. Like in my previous video, prove them wrong. Like send them something, like, I don't know, let's say, especially for us actors, if an acting teacher, for example, underestimates you, just send them a piece of work that you did, show them that they're wrong, show them that you're actually making it and you're actually doing good work. Or just stand out, speak up, show them that you're clever. Because people pleasers, they tend to be quiet. They just say, yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. I want to be nice to you because I want good consequences. But if you stand up and if you give your honest opinion, it's going to show your cleverness as well. So stand out, speak up, send your talent. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.